Bmw X3, a luxury SUV designed to go from downtown to off-road without missing a beat.
Could give some sports cars a run for their money.
Now, BMW is moving production from Europe to the USA.
When we first found out we were getting the X3, this whole factory was really excited.
It will take an army of robots, more than 1,000 workers, and a massive new high-tech assembly line, all to build the BMW X3 in this mega factory. This BMW factory produces more than 1,000 vehicles a day. But it's not in southern Germany. It's in the American South, in Spartanburg County, South Carolina.
We've been making BMWs in South Carolina since 1994.
Namely, the X5 and X6 all-wheel drive vehicles. But now, they're adding something new to the mix. The second generation X3. A versatile car built with BMW's newest, most state-of-the-art manufacturing processes. It's a luxury compact sports utility vehicle. That means a four-door car big enough for 5 adults, but smaller and more fuel efficient than BMW's full-size SUVs. It has all the hallmarks of a luxury vehicle. Rich interior, plus options like a navigation system and heated seats. But this car is rugged enough to take off-road. All without losing the trademark performance of a classic BMW.
This vehicle's quick. 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. That's sports car fast.
BMW changed everything with this second generation X3. Even where it's made.
The first generation of X3 was made in Austria, and we moved it here to the United States.
The South Carolina factory won the job of building the X3 in part because of their expertise making the X5 and X6.
But it comes with a lot of challenges and a lot of work.
Work to add the new vehicle, but also to build a lot of them. So they boosted the factory's total production by 50%.
So right now, we're building 445 X3s daily.
Every 128 seconds, we make an X3 here.
We're under a lot of pressure to build this vehicle. For example, in Europe, there's a waiting list of 4 to 6 months.
Most of these cars are going for export. Last year, we exported 70% what we manufactured here to 130 countries around the world.
But whatever their destination, each X3 starts life here, in the body shop, where an army of robots take center stage. It's their job to construct the car's steel skeleton, the chassis.
We're going to use robots because we are using sheet metal. Sheet metal is heavy, sheet metal is sharp. If you have to take a part like this 500 times a day, you might get hurt.
The robots begin with the chassis' underbody, the foundation on which everything is built. It all starts with hundreds of stamped steel parts.
These are the basic building blocks for the X3. I'm getting ready to load the rear panel.
The robots work fast.
If you don't keep up your area, you'll get behind.
Every burst of sparks is another weld made. It takes more than 3,600 precision welds to build the underbody. But the finished result is one solid unit of steel, a critical component in what makes this compact SUV handle like a sports car on the road. The stiff chassis anchors the drivetrain, including the suspension and axles.
Drivetrain should be in a position to adapt to the roads, but the body should be always 100% stiff. There should be completely no movement.
With the foundation complete, it's time to build up.
Building a car is a lot like building a house. Once you've done your floor group, which we call an underbody, then you have to frame the car.
Framing begins with the sides. First, a bead of glue, which contributes to the chassis' rigidity.
And the glue just provides an extra bit of strength and stiffness to the car.
The sides are on. Now, the roof. At this point, robots have done the majority of work. Over 6,500 welds. Humans perform the final welds because they can reach parts the robots can't. The last step for the chassis, a final inspection. But not just any old inspection, an ultrasound. This lets technicians see through the metal to verify that the welds are good. Now, this X3 skeleton is ready for action. Because this BMW is designed to take things a step further.
Now here's something you can't do with the sports car. We're going off-road on purpose.
The X3's chassis is built tough and tight for handling and off-road. But it's still supposed to be a luxury car. And that means a stylish look and feel. It's the X3's skin, the hood, front fenders, liftgate, and doors that give it the look. And many of those parts are manufactured here at nearby Drive Automotive. The parts begin as coils of steel. This coil is about to be transformed into doors. The cut sheet metal is fed into a tool and die, where it's stamped with 2,000 tons of pressure. After a series of refining presses, the inner doors emerge. They insert crash bars to reinforce the door in the event of a side impact collision. Then the inner door is joined with the outer door. This factory makes about 1,800 X3 doors every day. Then ships them 32 kilometers back to the BMW plant. The BMW X3 bodies are ready for their doors, fenders, hood, and tailgate. Known in the industry as hang-on parts. In BMW factories, people have always installed these hang-on parts. Until now. For the X3, the factory is using a new cutting-edge robotic process.
It was exciting to get the X3, to learn a new job on a smaller car, you know, and to see how the robots put the parts on versus how we would put the parts on the other cars.
The hang-on installation process is the most sensitive technique-driven process in the body shop. It's about perfectionism, and the robots give us exactly the same behavior every cycle. They don't vary.
But there's a challenge in installing any hang-on part.
Every part and every body has some variation to it. It's dimensionally not identical, just like every house that you build is not exactly the same.
These robots are equipped with a laser and camera system that gives them an edge.
So what the camera system does is looks at the car and the door, determines the deviation of each one of those, and determines the best possible positioning. So it automatically self-adjusts to every single part and door that we have. The robot that has the part has got the sensors, and the sensors guide the robot into position. So the robot goes to a general position. The lasers fire, give it corrections, and it adjusts itself into place.
The robots work in teams. Fitting robots position the part. Then screwing robots bolt the parts in place.
All the robots are talking to each other in a coordinate system. So the fitting robot is telling the screwing robot exactly where the car is at, where to maneuver to. Everything has to work just perfectly.
Humans place the front quarter panels and fenders. But down the line, robots install the final hang-on part, the hood. The body is complete. To get here, it's been touched by 400 robots. But in the end, skilled human hands judge all the robotic work.
We are gloving for any defects in the car that comes up the line before it goes to the paint shop. This is the final inspection. The robotic process helps us down here because we don't get as many dents and defects down here because people are not actually handling the parts.
These raw metal bodies may look tough, but in this form, they're vulnerable to corrosion. That's about to change as they head to the next stage, the paint shop. If you're designing a luxury car to go off-road, you need to make sure the body and finish stand up to harsh conditions. And that happens in the paint shop. The job here is to give the vehicle a durable, glossy finish, but also to protect the steel underneath from corrosion. First up, a soapy degreasing bath to remove any residual oils or dust. The next tank is a kind of hot spring mineral bath for raw, naked car bodies.
Okay, now we have an X3 body entering the bath, the phosphate bath. As it goes in, it's going end over end. It's going to be totally upside down in the bath, going through this bath. The bath is made up of phosphoric acid and 3 metals in solution: zinc, manganese, and nickel.
The phosphate bath chemically etches the metal, making it easier for the paint to adhere and making the steel more corrosion resistant. This helps the SUV in the most demanding environments.
Okay, what we see now is we finished the phosphate process. After we formed the phosphate crystals on the body, you see it took on a much darker look. It took away that shiny look we saw in Body and White Body Shop.
The next step is a shocker. An anti-corrosion bath known as the electrostatic coat, or E-coat.
Once the car is completely submerged, the car body takes on a negative charge. It's grounded to the side. The E-coat tank takes on a positive current, up to 1,000 amps of electricity applied to the tank. That makes the paint in the tank attract to the negative ground car body. That applies paint anywhere the car can get wet, inside of body cavities, inside the doors.
The E-coat bond is so strong, they can wash off excess paint in this rinse bath. Even while the E-coat paint is still wet.
It seems strange to wash off wet paint, but the paint that's actually attracted to the car body is electrically attracted, and it will not wash off.
Now the X3 heads into an oven to cure its E-coat paint at 240 degrees Celsius. This transforms the E-coat's color from gray to a dull olive drab. Next, the cars meet the paint shop's first robots. They apply PVC to seal the gaps in the underbody, making them watertight, which can pay off in extreme conditions.
We're actually going to drive down through a water crossing, so we're now going down into about 16 inches of water. There's no problem fording this kind of water depth.
So far, the paint process has been almost entirely automated. Until now.
And when we find like a little rough patch, like right here, you just sand it smooth and wipe it off, and then before you touch it, make sure it's smooth. Because if you don't catch all the imperfections, it shows through the paint. The more we catch here, the less problems we have down the line.
Down the line is where it gets critical. It's color coat painting. Before the BMW X3s enter the paint booth, they get dusted by ostrich feathers. The paint shop must work 24 hours a day to keep up with what two body shops can make in a 20-hour day.
Well, you have the X3, X5, and X6. All three models feeding into the paint shop. So you have 3 different body styles coming into one shop.
When the factory added the X3 to production, they had to find a way to ease the paint shop bottleneck. So they created a revolutionary new paint process. It saves time by eliminating the need for a primer coat.
We do what we call a functional coating that takes the place of primer. Instead of a primer, painting, and then drying, and then a top coat painting and drying, it's all done in the one line, the one top coat line.
It also has an environmental advantage.
We no longer need a primer booth, a primer air supply, a primer water circulation system, or a primer oven. So all the energy that it takes to drive all of that equipment is no longer needed.
Another challenge for the shop? Painting the X3 one of 11 different colors. The new paint process allows the factory to paint any car, any color, in any sequence.
We can run a black, white, red, blue. It doesn't matter because of our cartridge system.
An automated system cleans the paint cartridges and fills them with the next color.
While it's painting one car, the cartridge is already doing the color change for the next car coming in.
The cartridge atomizes the paint and mists it over the car. The negatively charged paint is attracted to the positively grounded car, enabling the robots to paint an entire vehicle with under 4 liters of paint. The cars then pass through a flash oven at 74 degrees Celsius, which removes moisture and partially cures the paint. Now, the last layer, the clear coat, which gives vehicles a protective, glossy finish. Then, the final bake oven, 45 minutes at 150 degrees Celsius. After a final inspection and polish, the painted bodies are filed away in the stacker. It holds over 500 bodies until they're ready for the next stage of the build, assembly. To build the X3, the factory first had to build a massive new assembly hall.
The biggest part of our expansion obviously was the assembly hall. Because we didn't have a building here already, we had to basically start with a peach orchard. From the construction phase, it took us about 12 months to get the building standing, and we were producing prototype cars inside the factory.
The new assembly line is nearly 1 kilometer long, laid out in a series of loops the factory calls fingers.
We created fingers so we allow more direct access from the outside into those loops.
This tube is how the X3 gets to the new assembly hall.
We have a conveyor bridge that's about a half-mile long. It holds about 120 cars. It transports the cars from our existing paint shop up to the assembly north.
Now, the vehicles are dropped onto that brand new high-tech assembly line, ready for final assembly. BMW's new X3 assembly line starts here at Station 1, the build order. This is where they attach the customer's order options for their personal vehicle. The factory custom builds every vehicle to order, giving customers a say in everything from engine, interior upholstery, dash and console trim, electronics, even a windshield heads-up display, which all adds up to a big challenge on the assembly line.
There's 10 million different variants of an X3.
Down the line, the doors come off so they can be tricked out. Every day, around 1,800 doors make their way to this sub-assembly area, where they're fitted with windows, upholstery, and electronics. The factory dedicates an entire station for one of the vehicle's most expensive options, the sunroof. Over half of all X3 customers spend more than $1,000 to add this feature. A one-of-a-kind robot installs those sunroofs. It's armed with 27 guns that tighten nuts built into the sunroof cassette. It also has suction cups to grip the glass.
At this step, the robot's retrieving the next cassette in line for the next car that will be installed. Now it is our system, the vision system's reading it. It's sending the coordinates to the robot. The robot will start its process. And the vision system has a series of cameras, and it determines the path that the robot should take. Very small clearance between the base of the robot and the top of the roof of the car, pretty much just within millimeters. The process is ready to complete. Down, the robot drives back out again.
Next up, the car's nerve center. Everything electronic in the car, from ignition to headlights, to the instrument panel, to the power liftgate, depends on a network of wires. A massive network of wires.
This is the nerve center of the car. Just like your system in your body, you got to have nerves.
Those nerves are packed in a duffel bag, which is heated in an oven to make the wires inside more pliable.
What we have now, Brenda's actually bringing the harness to the car, and she's verified the harness to make sure it's the right one for the car. And now what Brenda's gonna do, she's gonna lay the harness out to each individual. The first part of the harness coming out is going to T, which is the audio harness. Then after she does that, she'll continue to open up the bags in different layers. Some of it will go to her, and some of it will go to her other teammate on the opposite side of the line. Now, as they begin to assemble it out, they will begin to place it on particular studs that help to keep the harness held in place so that it doesn't come up out of place and off.
So much depends on wiring. Even safety features like these upper side airbags going in here. To fasten the airbags in place, technicians use this.
And this is the rack-u chair. It allows you to go into the car and rivet in the airbags. It turns 360. It swivels back and forth, so it allows you to move freely within the car. And we're out. And without this chair, this job would be much tougher.
This claw may look ominous, but it actually helps people work more ergonomically on the underside of the car.
When you don't have something like this, the associates are always working with their hands over their head, and that's really a bad ergonomic position to be in all day.
These are the brake lines, and what we do, I have to let him start first, then they'll line up. I go halfway and he go the other half.
On the second half of the tilt conveyor line, the gas tank goes in. Vehicles spend 128 seconds at each assembly station for parts small and large, like the dashboard. The dashboards are individually built based on customer options like dash trim and satellite navigation. It takes about 16 minutes to build the dash, but just over 2 minutes to install. Up ahead, it gets its glass. A robot applies a bead of glue.
we're taking measurements with a laser system. We measure 6 spots in the flange area just to make sure the car is where we need it to be. Now once we've decked both glasses, we send a signal to the skid line letting them know that our job is done, move the car out.
A right turn down the line takes the vehicle to its interior installation. Outside suppliers make most of the vehicle's interior parts.
Over 80% of the parts are delivered directly to the factory from the supplier, so just in time. And that basically reduces inventory and reduces the supply chain.
For this system to work, suppliers must deliver on time, every time.
If there's a supply chain interruption, it's going to stop the assembly line. So you have now the 1,000 people in this process sitting, waiting for that part to arrive.
Every 2 minutes the line is down means one less vehicle made that day, costing BMW money and making customers wait for their delivery. Suppliers like seat manufacturer Lear Corporation know what's at stake.
We're a just-in-time supplier, and we need to hit every delivery window. We're 100% reliable for BMW. We have to be. We get an order from BMW. We have about a 4-hour window to build that seat.
The seat must be built fast, but it also must be built right.
The seat in a car is very important, and this X3 has got a very supportive seat. It's comfortable, but more important than that, it keeps you in place so that if you need to do something dynamic, you can do it.
The seat supplier's ticking clock starts with a printout.
At this point, the build information comes across from BMW. This is where we know all this build specific things, such as if it's an electric seat, a manual seat, if it's cloth, if it's leather, if it's left-hand drive, right-hand drive, and so on and so on. There's thousands of variations.
Some seats are heated. Front passenger seats for the U.S. market get an occupant sensor that will link to the airbag system.
In this station, we heat the seat up to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit to release all the wrinkles out of the leather and to help that seat sit real nice on the foam.
The last step on the line, a robotic quality check that tests the seat's controls and electronics. One final inspection, and they're shipped to BMW's assembly line, less than 2 kilometers away. They're delivered just 90 minutes before they're needed on the line.
When our seats arrive at BMW, they're pulled off the trailer in sequence to what their production is.
I like putting them in when I own the X3. And, you know, my family to ride around these things, I want everything to be done right.
Now, the X3 is ready for its doors to be put back on. The outside's coming together, but inside, it's missing its heart. BMW X3's 3.0-liter turbocharged six-cylinder engine can launch this SUV with sports car-like acceleration.
We'll put it over into sport mode. And now here we go, 0 to 60. All right, in 5.5 seconds. So there you go. That was 0 to 60.
The powertrain starts with engines and transmissions and a towering storage unit called the sequencer.
This sequencer holds 2,000 engines and transmissions, 1,200 transmissions and 800 engines.
The sequencer automatically chooses the engine and transmission for a vehicle coming down the line. Then, the all-wheel drive powertrain build begins. "60 minutes later, the powertrain is complete. Now, it's ready for one of the most important processes on the line: marriage.
We take the powertrain, the heart of the BMW, and we build it into the body. This is where you bring it to life for the first time. There are 21 bolts or screws that attach the powertrain to the body. We have 4 robots here that go through the process of automatically bolting those down. It now has the heart of the BMW. We have just put the heart of the BMW into the BMW.
But this heart needs pipes to exhale, and that means installing the exhaust system.
This is our hovercraft. It assists us with lifting the muffler onto the vehicle. It's the principle of an air hockey puck gliding on the table. And it just makes the job a lot easier as we load the muffler onto the vehicle.
Down the line, the vehicle gets its front end. Next up, the part that links car and driver, the steering wheel. One wheel on, 4 more to go. After a total manufacturing time of 30 hours, the X3 touches down. It happens 450 times a day. But it still needs a drink.
Putting in about 5 liters of fuel.
Enough to run the car during the roll booth test, where it's put through its paces for the first time.
It just feels like you're floating, really, in the rollers. Once you get used to it, it's just like driving outside, really. We just hit 100 miles an hour. Test is over. This car passes. And that's it. That's a wrap, guys.